Hello and welcome to Taking You to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. I'm your host, JP John Paz. With me, of course, the star of the show, the former WWE World Tag Team Champion, one of the greatest trainers in the history of the business, the Doctor of Desire, Dr. Tom Prichard. Dr. Tom, how you doing today, sir?
John, doing great. We were just talking about what a great weekend WrestleMania was and all the stuff that was around LA that weekend. People were having a blast from what I heard. It was a great, great time to be in Los Angeles. And what a hell of a two night WrestleMania. Both nights were awesome to me, man. So yeah, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. So that it might have been the golden age when the Attitude Era was around, but it's certainly going into some kind of age right now too, where everybody on the card. I mean, over 80,000 people, both
Yep.
nights in a row, and that's it's incredible.
To me, man, business is booming right now for
Yeah.
them. The ratings are up for the first time in God knows how long, probably many, many years. It's just, I don't know, crazy to think that how good they're doing right now.
Well, yeah, but I think it's because they've had those engaging storylines and uh, the Bloodline and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and all those guys and Cody. The stories, how does the story end? Well, it hasn't ended. It just keeps going. So, um, yeah, it's incredible. I was listening. One thing that really stood out to me at WrestleMania was the panel who was talking about the matches. Wade Barrett, Booker T, uh, whoever I forget the other
Kevin
guys.
Patrick, Caleb
Yes, and
Braxton, and Peter Rosenberg.
Rosenberg. Yes, yes, yes. And they were discussing each of the matches seriously, and they were discussing them, logically, and it was a good conversation back and forth. You know what I mean? And they had good chemistry together too. I thought, and I was enjoying listening to them and watching book and everybody having a good time. So it seemed like a man, and the entrances this year too. To me, I thought they went way, way, way far and above than in a long time. You know what I mean? I don't know how many pianos they had on stage, but just the whole thing was cool.
Yeah, it was a great spectacle, great show. Hello to Ibsen. Hello, Jason. How are you doing?
We're both doing
Chris
good.
Chris Norman was wondering, what is your favorite match from WrestleMania?
I'll tell you, it was the three-way with Gunther, Drew McIntyre, and Sheamus. And there were, all of them were great. Just that kind of stood out to me because they were kicking each other in the mouth and kicking each other and chopping and doing just some solid stuff uh, that the people obviously haven't seen in a long time and got into because there were three big kick-ass giant giants and they're wailing on each other and it was done in such a way where people could digest how great Gunther really is and where he belongs. And he's been that way for the last year and a half, or since he's been here actually. So it was great to see that match stand out. And those guys, everything connected. Just great match.
I thought, to me, the IC title match that you mentioned with Gunther, Sheamus, and McIntyre was awesome. I love Dominic versus Ray, and then I love the main event. I love Roman Reigns and Cody. So I like
Yeah,
those
there's
three. I know
nothing.
people like the tag match too.
Yeah, nothing that I would say. They were all incredible. It was incredible 2 nights. It was like I was anticipating every match. So
Hello, gentlemen. Hello, Bo James.
I don't know who he's talking to, gentlemen.
Yeah, gentlemen. Yeah. Charles wants to know, hey guys, what's your opinion on this Logan Paul kid? I tried not to like him, and now he's basically he's all about there is to watch. He's saying.
Well, I don't know if he's about all there is to watch there, but he's earned his stripes for what he's done. I think he came into it and he had a respect for it because doing what he's doing, he knows what it takes and knows how it feels. So I think he's pretty good. He earned my respect the first time out. So um, that's what I can say. And I think we'll see him again sometime. So you never
He
know. I mean,
is
he might be onto something new and more uh, beyond too. Who knows?
He is very good. He's excellent. Crazy question though. He does the buckshot Larry at the Adam Page move. If you're
right?
watching that, like you're Adam Page, do you change your move because the guy that's a relative rookie out of nowhere does the move better than you? Would you change
Yeah,
the
why
move
didn't
and
he
just
change
not
his
do it
move?
anymore?
Let him change his move. Yeah,
All right, because I would
yeah,
think like, okay, shit, this guy does it better than me. Maybe I should change it up.
yeah. I don't. I think it's all about how you think about it, and that's a great way to think about it because the guy who's doing it better than you is on national TV and being seen all over the world. So uh, I don't know.
Good evening, Phil.
Good evening, Phil.
Murphy, got a good question. Dr. Tom, what is your opinion on Vince McMahon's mustache, and would you consider growing one?
Why no? I wouldn't consider growing one, especially at this point. I think, but I think Vince's mustache it fits for what he's doing now, and we know what it looks like. He knows what it looks like. I don't think he looks in the mirror every day, and I think he knows what it elicits. He likes it. That's my philosophy on that one. But it is kind of a weird look, for a guy who was always shaving and always making sure there was no 5 o'clock shadow. Just so. But that's even. I think it's great that he's doing it because it's showing he just doesn't care.
He looks like a
That's just my
cartoon
opinion.
character, though. I think he
Yeah.
looks like a cartoon character.
Well, who doesn't? You know what I mean? Anybody could be a cartoon character. Let's.
I don't know, like it almost looks like painted on, and then his hair is like
Yeah.
jet black now. Yeah.
Even better. Even better. Yeah.
Why the change though? What's up with this mustache? Remember he was so against facial
I
hair?
don't.
What's up with
You know
that?
what? I have no idea what would inspire that. Although maybe it's just one of those things like say, well, if you want to believe I'm a heel, I'll show you I'm a heel. Here, look at me. Don't I look like a bad guy?
Like
You
a
know,
1950s
I
villain
mean
or
that's
something.
that's
Yeah.
that's the only reason I can think of. It's like, okay, I tell you what, I'm going to do this just to annoy each and every one of you. So
What do we got here? Busted cheeks, I think it says. I'm feeling wrestling is dead. Wow, the sale of WWE is the beginning of the end. Rest in peace, wrestling universe. Do you believe that?
well, maybe in the traditional what it was, but it's been dead for a long time like that. But I think the spectacle that is WWE and the guys who are able to pull that spectacle off, and I mean that they're able to bring it to life, then I think we're getting into an era where I don't know. It looked really like a place to be this weekend. There was a lot of people there both nights, over 80,000, and the guys who went to the ring looked good. Uh, were stars, and just the Intercontinental match for one. I think that was a match that made Drew McIntyre right there too. Uh, Hanging with Sheamus and not that he couldn't hang with anybody, but I mean it's just a combination of those three. Um, I thought they did a lot of good stuff. So
Man, if wrestling is dead, I mean that's crazy. 162,000 people were in LA.
right,
They just got evaluated for $9.3 billion from the sale, and Vince is now even more in charge. He's the executive chairperson of Endeavor. So I mean, according to this merger, so he's got more power. He's got 5 people under him that are his chair people. Other members of the board. So I don't know if wrestling's dead. That's crazy because they made $21 million in merchandise over the weekend. I mean, it's
yeah,
just crazy. Raw ratings are the best they've been in years.
yeah.
Years.
Well, I
So,
think once the WWE has always been above the curve or ahead of the curve of whatever's coming up next, whether it's the internet or the what's the 5D or whatever the great cameras that they came out with right at the beginning of this stuff. So uh, I'm telling you, man, yeah, you don't sell. How much did the company sell for?
valuated 9.3 billion.
9.3 billion dollars. So that's far from dead. And I think I don't know about how they'll regroup if you just kind of rearrange or just keep doing what they're doing because it seems to be that uh, just having a vision isn't enough. You need to fulfill that vision. You need to have somebody believe in what you're doing, and then when you create that, I dare say, Gunther coming out in that in his entrance, and all three guys, you had three foreign heels or three foreign wrestlers in Los Angeles, California. This is a global happening. You have people from all over the world coming to this organization and going out and proving they're one of the very best.
Yep.
So
And
I
they
don't think
made
it's hit it all.
$20 million in sponsors, meaning Mike's
Yeah,
Hard Lemonade, Prime, that other thing, Cinnamon OGs or whatever, Cinnamon Toast Crunch thing. They made $21 million off of sponsorships too. So, I mean, they're killing it.
yeah, yeah, and there's got to be a reason those people are paying a lot of money because they keep making people. I understand, and people's taste keeps changing by the day. So you just have to keep up with the trends and keep up with whatever people are wanting.
Why do you think Vince didn't just hand over the company to Shane, and why didn't it stay within the family?
Because Vince is a businessman, and while I'm sure he loves his family, I think he's looking at a publicly traded company. And even before that, I think he knew he wanted to do something with it like this. So that's just what I think, but I have no.
What are your thoughts on Brock Lesnar turning on Cody Rhodes on Monday Night Raw?
I think it's great because it gives Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes gives Cody Rhodes definitely some interesting scenarios to be in, and I think being next to Brock Lesnar couldn't hurt anybody. I mean, as far as proving that you're worthy to be there, because Brock will put you through what he knows you need to go through, I guess. And
Almost like feuding with like Taker. You know what I mean?
yes,
You're not one, but you're 1A or 1B. You're high up on the card.
and this is a guy who's going to see if you are or aren't. So, and
Yep.
Brock will make him work for it. He made Roman Reigns work for it. He's made everybody's been in the ring with, work for it. So they've got that in place too, and I think that's why these guys are now breaking out and getting a chance to try some new stuff.
Scorch. Rest in peace, Bushwhacker Butch. Does Dr. Tom have any memories of working with the sheep herders, aka the Bushwhackers?
Yeah, both Luke and Butch were great guys. Butch was a great guy. Never, always was laughing around him, and Luke as well. We worked with him in WrestleMania 10.
Yep.
We worked with him a couple times around the horn with these guys. So uh, just a great guy, and he was one of those guys that you never stop laughing, where you just whatever it is, if he's say something crazy just to get you to laugh again. So rest in peace, Butch.
He was hilarious. Got the awesome chance to interview him all the way over in New Zealand. Got to interview him last
Oh
summer. He is funny as hell. He was or was.
yeah,
He was a great guy. My God.
very nice guy, very nice man. Yeah.
Was Butch funny backstage like he was on camera? Like you were just saying, yes, for sure.
Yes, of course. Yes, he was. That was the great part about it.
Going back to the sale, he's saying here because he realized at 80 years old, he's not long for this world. He wanted to make sure that his future and his family's future was monetarily taken care of regarding Vince. I could see that.
Sure, I could too. I mean, he's the only one who truly knows, I guess. But yeah, I could see that. I certainly could. It just makes more sense. I mean, instead of handing it over to somebody, Vince always believed in working for it, and he worked this hard for this, and wanted to make something like this was going to happen. Make sure something like this was going to happen.
How do you prepare for a match with the Bushwhackers, focusing on comedy with them?
Well, you focus on comedy with them. You
Or
do their
wrestling?
match. Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you had a Bushwhacker match, you knew we weren't going to be doing a whole lot of Greco-Roman go behind takedowns. Although we did, but no, it was a lot of fun with the Bushwhackers because all you had to go out there and do the Bushwhackers.
Was it an easy night as far as just getting the crowd
Oh my
reaction?
God, yeah, it really was. It was an easy night all the way around.
B40 with Cody now feuding with Brock and Roman. Excuse me, with Brock and Roman not having a clear opponent. Do we finally get Rock versus Roman at SummerSlam?
Huh. Well, um, maybe they would have hinted to that, but I don't know. There's always a possibility it could be Rock and Roman at SummerSlam, but it feels more WrestleMania to me. Well, SummerSlam is the next WrestleMania, so could be. Who knows?
I don't know, I feel like Rock would want to be WrestleMania main event. You know what I mean? I don't know if
That's
he'd be ready for
that's
SummerSlam. Yeah.
that's what it feels like. But once again, who knows? SummerSlam to WrestleMania.
And it's
But
funny,
then,
people were saying that, like, as far as like last year's SummerSlam, everyone's thinking like it was going to be WrestleMania 39 Rock versus Roman. But
right,
Bruce just said in an interview, and I heard another person kind of said the same thing. It was always going to be Cody Roman, dating back to they just wanted Cody to get healthy, but dating back to last SummerSlam is when they kind of put it pen to paper and said this is the main event for WrestleMania. So Rock was never even a part of the discussion. They knew he wasn't going
right,
to be up there this year.
right. So, but you never know things. But yeah, that's a lot to ask because he's got a lot. He has a lot, so you don't want to get hurt.
Phil said Vince once forbid facial hair amongst the announcers except for Mean Gene. Interesting.
Well, yeah.
I wonder if that's I don't know, one of his pet peeves, his infamous pet peeves. He doesn't he doesn't like
Well,
this, he doesn't like that. You can't say belt, you can't have facial hair.
right. And I was just going to say, now at this point, he can pretty much say, yeah, all right, we'll loosen up. So who knows?
Jason is saying Vince's mustache reminds him of Clark Gable, and frankly, he doesn't give a damn.
That's what I think. I think he's pretty much saying that every time he comes on screen with it. Frankly, I don't give a damn because you can't help but think that when you look at it.
Here's
He
a
knows that. How can he not know that?
oh, he knows. It looks
Sure.
ridiculous. He knows, yeah. And even
Right.
the dye job on the hair is like a bit much.
Well, for you maybe, but
Yeah, well, yeah.
I think it looks great.
Charlie's got a good question here. Let's see if I can click it. Here we go. Did you hear about Rick Steiner chewing out some quote unquote indie freak at a signing at WrestleCon?
I did. I did hear about that, and I think that's something that I think you need to either keep to yourself or be prepared to suffer whatever consequences come your way. So if it's that important to share your opinion, okay, but then accept what comes along with it, and that's all I'm going to say about that. I mean, I obviously wasn't there, so I don't know. I've heard one person say it didn't happen, or read one person said it didn't happen. Do you know what we're talking about?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
so did it happen or did it not happen?
So I've heard the same thing, conflicting stories
Okay,
that people were saying there was surprisingly with everybody having camera phones and recording everything that happens
right.
these days that it wasn't there. But then I think it was TMZ or somebody tried to interview Rick and he kind of didn't deny it. So that was
Okay,
interesting. Yeah. And then I heard
yeah.
from somebody else that was there that that they thought they heard him say it, but there wasn't like clarification of exactly what he did say. So
Mm-hmm.
what she said, he said somebody else that she was with agreed that she said it. So I don't know, who knows, but I was just surprised it wasn't recorded.
Well, yeah, that's another really good point because people do have cameras and whip stuff out all the time. So, but once again,
If he did
um,
say it, he's got to be careful. I mean, geez, come on, Rick.
yeah, but there's people everywhere, and we
Yeah,
can't avoid them.
yeah.
So that's where the lack of civility comes in, or the discipline of civility comes in, I guess. And if you can't be civil, then accept what comes your way.
Deadly Alliance makes a great point here. Vince has a porn stash.
I
Yes,
won't.
that's
Yeah, I
exactly what
won't
it
deny
is.
that. Yes,
Yes,
it is.
yes, yes.
Like it is a porn stash.
Hi, Dr. Tom. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Sorry I'm late from Barbara.
Barbara, don't worry. We haven't been talking that long.
This is a good point here from Phil.
Okay.
Ironic that Shane McMahon gets hurt on a leapfrog and not from falling from a balcony or a giant cage. Yeah, isn't that weird the way it works? I know he's older now, but isn't that funny that he's done the craziest stuff? I've seen him jump from 30 feet and not get hurt, and he got hurt doing the leapfrog.
I felt so bad. I really did because I knew he
Yeah.
got hurt, and then I went, damn, because he did do all that stuff so good. He could still do all that stuff so good, and just
Yep.
like one of those freak things, and you go, oh, so yeah, my my heart sunk with him. It really did. So it is ironic, or it's irony. It's ironic that he could do all that stuff, that crazy stuff, and then something that simple. But dadgummit, yeah,
I
damn
guess
shame.
when you hit 50, I think he's 50, right? When you hit 50,
I
you never know.
yeah, yeah. You never know. Terry Funk. Well, anyway, don't do this at home. Do it at somebody else's house. Get him in trouble. Yeah.
Hey, and Shane is kind of like your protege because you did train him. So he's kind of like your
Yes,
protege.
he is. And that's why I felt so bad for him, because I know
Yeah.
how he really gets into it, man. And he loves it, and he loves doing it and going out there and shadow boxing stuff. And so yeah, I went, oh, so
Clearly back in the good graces with Vince. Clearly.
well, let's
Vince
hope
is
so.
back in the power. Shane's back. He's back in the good graces.
Okay.
Ibsen's got a good question. Do you agree with Bret Hart that wrestling looks phony? That when he sees 8 to 10 wrestlers huddling at ringside and waiting for somebody to jump off and fall on them, and then they get up 5 seconds later. He also said, it said other stuff about the kicks and
Right.
the
Right.
slap and the other stuff. He
I
said it looks
I
too phony.
well, that's one of the things, yeah, because it's too choreographed. I guess it looks a little choreographed, like we're all going to mingle over here and migrate over here and get here. We're
Yeah.
going to kind of
Yep.
mingle, 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 mingle. They're
Yep.
not even making an attempt to look like they're trying to get away, or like a little scatter fly or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden catch the guy. So that's the little things nobody thinks about. It wouldn't be so bad, if they were outside the ring, but they wouldn't stay in one place for 10 seconds waiting for you. So they would know how to fight, know how to make that whole thing come together a little bit better. But nobody knows that because they haven't seen it and they haven't felt it. Let me just go back to the Intercontinental match. When they started the wailing away and forearms and stuff like that, and the people started coming up, you could feel that they were getting into it. So that dive is a little more spectacular, but it doesn't mean as much as those guys laying it in, giving
Yeah.
it time, and let people
Yep.
digest what they're doing. So if you could do that and still get the dive in without just mingling there, it would make a little bit more sense. But they don't know how to do that. So
You know
it does.
what's great about Gunther? Every match he's in, you're like, okay, let's see if this, let's see what he's got. The crowd is loving it by the end. Every match, whether it's Ricochet, Rey Mysterio, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, that 3-way, every match he's in, by the end of it, the crowd is going nuts because he's laying it in. They're feeling it because they think it's real. You know what I mean? Like they get sucked in.
Well, it is real.
Well, when he's hitting you, yeah,
That's
my
what
God,
that's what I mean.
hands
It's
are
real.
huge.
That
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
really hitting you,
yeah,
and
yep,
those guys know how to take it, and they know how to give it, and that's why that made such a great match, because they were seriously, man. Gunther kicked Sheamus, I don't know how many times in the mouth. It was great,
yep.
it just Sheamus is so pale. He was beat red,
Oh yeah,
and Drew too, and it was real. It was, they went out there and they treated it like a contest. Not that you could do that with every match, and there is a place for the other stuff, but was this was something different that the people got behind, because the guys in the ring were behind it, and they didn't call everything in the back, but they felt it out there, and they knew what they were going to do, and so that kind of stuff of making a match doesn't really. You learn that by being in the ring with people who can do that. So and you got to find out anyway. I think it's that's the difference between mingling out there and catching the guy, and then going out there and feeling it. So
Love it. Love that match. Love Gunther. He's the man.
yeah, I agree.
Barbara is saying WrestleMania drew money. There's no question about it. Yes, my God, they did well. It's, $20 million here, $20 million for merch, $20 million for sponsorship. I mean, the gate was over $21 million. It was just crazy how much money they made.
It was the place to be this weekend, and a lot of guys, made the trek out. A lot of people made the trek out from all over the world just to come see this. So they're going to take something back, and you knew the merch was going to be off the charts. But uh, they're doing great. I don't see anything on life support. That's for sure.
Yep. Charlie says, "How awesome would it be to have a hot
Hot list.
topless chick, cold open the show for America the Beautiful? Come on, Vince, that's money." Yes, obviously they can't do that because it's the PG era. But hey, during the Attitude Era, they should have went for it. That would have been nice.
Well, okay.
Good
Yeah.
Day says, "What, $9 billion? Yes, $9.3 billion.
Okay, that's not bad. That was I don't know if that was the goal or not, but it's not a bad goal to have. $9 billion. I think. I think.
And he bought it for
WWE 's gonna
$1 million.
Well, there you go. I mean,
Yeah.
he did a pretty good job. So
Crazy.
yeah,
Steve Dave just joined. How do you think the UFC and WWE will maximize crossover appeal and partnerships?
I think greatly. I think there's enough guys in UFC that wouldn't mind coming over and crossing over, and vice versa in pro wrestling. So you got some tough guys. I mean, Brock's already done it. Bobby Lashley's done it.
Yep.
Um,
Matt Riddle.
Yeah. So I mean, they're already kind of crossed over, and so I think it's going to be good for all involved.
Killer Cross would probably be pretty good too, considering he trains with all those guys. He'd probably be pretty good.
Yeah, I believe so.
It seems like WWE's sponsorships and like their partnerships are great, and it just seems like they could enhance UFC in that way. And obviously, there's going to be some give and take there. But I think that it is a kind of a match made in heaven with these guys.
Yeah, I think so too. I really do. I think that you're going to find some personalities that clash, or some that mesh. And Ronda Rousey came from UFC, and
Shayna Baszler too. Yep.
Yeah. So I think they're going to be able to convince the other guys, or not, if it's time. But then again, you don't want to. I don't know what the idea is to rush it, but I think it'll happen organically.
Do you think Vince should give Hogan a nice bonus, considering he laid the foundation for Vince being able to sell the company for $9 billion?
Well, I don't know, but I do think that Vince has given Hogan many bonuses over the years.
Yeah, I heard his WrestleMania 5 bonus was quite nice. Yeah.
So there you go.
I'm sure it's every WrestleMania. Yeah.
Right. So there's other people involved too, but yeah, I think he's had his bonuses.
Barbara wants to know, was Shane really hurt in the ring, or was that an angle? No, he tore his quad.
Yeah, sure did.
That was not good for Shane. At first, I was like, "Oh, it must be a work to get Snoop Dogg the match," but it looked like Snoop Dogg kind of just improvised and just was like, "Shit, I got to get in there and do something."
Yeah, good for him. He was a fan, and Miz kind of got it, but he did a good job. Did a really good job. I thought he did a good job hosting too.
Yeah, Snoop is great because he could tell he's a big fan. Like that's the thing that's great. Some of those guys seem like they're a little phony. He does not. He seems like he's like a legit wrestling fan.
Yeah, so he was having fun. That always comes through. And but I hate it for Shane. I really did. My heart sunk for him when it happened.
Yep. Sam Herschler. Will anything happen to the WWE Network or to the subscribers now? Well, they
I
have
know
that
nothing.
deal. They have that deal with Peacock for a few years. So when we get to that bridge, we need to cross it. Then right now, nothing will change
Okay. All right.
because
Well,
Nick Khan was saying that obviously the CEO was saying that they might go back to the pay-per-view model because that's working for UFC, but it's obviously a completely different ball game for UFC pay-per-views and WWE. WWE, you're getting it for $5 a month and you're watching WrestleMania. You know what I mean? I don't know if people will spend $50 a month on pay-per-views for wrestling anymore.
you don't think so? $50 for a pay per view?
WrestleMania,
I
yeah,
think it'd be more.
but
I think it'd
not.
be more than $50.
It'll probably be 75 or 80, yeah. But I just
Yeah.
don't. WrestleMania, I would for sure, but SummerSlam, yes, but like I don't know, Money in the Bank, probably not. You know what I mean? Some of them I would just skip.
Well, then how do they work that out?
Well, Peacock pays them $2 billion, and they got I think 1.5 million subscribers paying $5 or $10 a month. I guess they're kind of slowly making their money back on it.
Well, then I think everything should stay the same. That's just my thought.
It will for a while. Magazine Retriever. As a kid, I didn't realize the Bushwhackers were in their 40s. They were amongst the oldest guys on the roster at the time. Yeah, isn't that funny how, like, and I'm thinking back and looking back, it's like, oh my God, they were like 38, 39, 40
Right, but
when
they've
they were in
been, yeah,
WWF. Yeah. And then obviously later on, they were in their 40s.
yeah. So they came over the stage kind of early, or maybe hell, I don't know. Were they in their whatever they were, 30, whatever it was, came over here, and they made a hell of a splash in the South. Pensacola, Mobile, San Antonio, then Memphis with the Fabs. So yeah,
Well,
they've been around, and they were the veterans in the ring. So, and they were good heels too. They did an angle in Houston with the Fantastics, where Butch and Luke came out. Fantastics accepted an award. They were both in a white tuxedo. Luke and Butch come out and just butcher them. You know, blood everywhere, man. People were calling to see how they were, and fans were worried about them and some cards and all that stuff, man. So I mean, and they had some great matches because they did that bushwhacker style, crazy style. Then as they came across as baby faces, they adapted just as well. And I think they really, well, I know they had started having fun with it. So
when I think back to like the Butch interview, and I know he's told the story before, but I couldn't stop laughing. He basically says to Vince, he's like, "There's no way we're going to be baby faces." And then Vince is like, "No, I have an idea. We're the Bushwhackers." So he said he got literally right in Vince's face, like nose to nose, and he goes, "You think this face can be a baby face? Then I'll do it," or whatever. Like, like
yeah,
he's crazy. Like he has no thought of like, if I get in this guy's face, this is going to be weird. So he's like, "You think you could do it?" And they're like, eye to eye, nose to nose. And Vince is like, "Yes, I'm going to make
yeah,
you guys baby faces." He's like, "Okay, if you think
yeah.
so."
Well, yeah,
It worked.
I think Butch knew he wasn't going to be a baby face until Vince said, "Yep," and there you go.
Yep. Yep. Charles wants to know, do you have a favorite SNL comedian? It's got to be Norm Macdonald.
I like Norm Macdonald. I did. Um, yeah, I like Norm Macdonald.
I'd say Norm and Farley, Chris Farley, definitely.
Chris Farley's another one I liked. Yeah, I sure did. I mean, everybody liked Belushi and Aykroyd, but
Yeah.
I mean, the favorite guys, I have to say, Chris Farley and Norm Macdonald.
Here's a Norm quote. They say there's no bad way to eat a Reese's cup, but tell that to the guy that put one up his butt.
Yeah,
Norm is nuts. He's kind of got that like Andy Kaufman, like he doesn't care if the crowd laughs kind of humor. You know what I mean?
yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but he's got some good ones in there too.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
he kind of
Oh yeah.
throws them because it takes me a while to laugh at some of his
Yep.
stuff. But once I do, because I see how stupid he's being.
Brendan got a good question. With WrestleMania 40 being in Philadelphia, do you see Paul Heyman going into the Hall of Fame then, or do you think that they should wait?
I think Philly would be a great place to put Paul in the Hall of Fame, especially after the success he's had with the Bloodline and Brock Lesnar and everything he's done. I think
Yeah,
Philly would
with
be
Ray,
great.
I mean, they're putting current guys in,
Yeah,
so why not? Yeah.
why not? I agree.
Rio, I would never want to tick off Rick Steiner. He's still a tough dude. Yeah, I wouldn't want to piss him off either. Doug Myers, you should have wrestled in the 1980s for the WWF. Yes, I kind of agree.
Well, maybe I should have, but guys, I had other important business overseas.
He's got another
Can't talk
important
about it
question.
right now. Huh?
He's got another important question for you.
Okay, go ahead.
What is your max bench press?
Right now, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I've ever had a max bench press.
Murphy wants to know: did you place any bets on the matches this past weekend?
You know what? I had a bet. I really did. Here's what I thought too. Speaking of, I knew I had another point about the announcers, the panel beforehand with Wade Barrett and Booker. They were all putting Bianca over, and I mean, saying there's no way she's ready to leave the belt. There's no way. And I'm thinking, well, no, wait a minute. Everybody picked Bianca.
Yeah, she must be losing. Yeah,
She must be losing. Then I see the entrance and I go, well, there's no way she's losing now, but maybe, just maybe, they're doing all this. So when she loses, it's going to be that much better for Asuka.
Yep.
Well, no, that wasn't what happened. So I was going to place a bet on that one. I thought about, Asuka going over, but I don't think that was part of the deal. I don't think they offer that. I think it's like how many slams he gets or how many Superman punches, right? Have you seen this betting thing, John? Have you seen?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so is that what it is? You can't bet on the winners or the losers, correct?
Not as of yet, technically, although some sports books I noticed do have betting odds, which is crazy that
On
you could do that on the wins and losses. So I think it's very hard to come by. But I've seen some sports books that's like things I've never even heard of. Bet something. I don't know if it was in Europe or where the
Bet
hell
your
it was.
ass.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. And
Yeah.
they were doing the betting odds. I was like, wow, that's weird of the winners and losers. But DraftKings does the hey, Roman does 4 spears or whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, I thought about it. And I said, no. No, I think that's stupid. So, well, it's not stupid. I think it's just you're betting on anyway.
Paranormal Gaming says Vince looks like Walt Disney. I kind of agree.
Yeah, I'll give him Walt Disney.
Yeah,
I
right.
think
Definitely.
yes, he definitely wanted to be Walt Disney, so I think he's got the look.
King of Kingsport, Bo James, Dr. Tom taught Shane McMahon his intro dance. Really?
I
Wow.
don't believe that ever happened, John. I think that Shano, I taught him how to do the. No, I ain't gonna say that.
Coast to
But
coast. You told him the coast to coast.
no,
Oh.
yeah. But no, we didn't do the entrance.
Why don't we see the head claw used anymore? The Baron was great. Baron von Raschke, the claw.
Well, honest to goodness, I don't know. I'm sure there are guys like Braun Strowman. Has Braun ever crushed the apple? Do you know?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, in his feats of strength, if you can crush an apple, you had that really powerful claw,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Okay, Volkov had it. A couple of people had it. So I think people know if you put the claw hold on somebody, you're not going to kill them. It won't paralyze them. It's a work. So now that people put it on, especially in 2023, I just don't think they're going to buy into it unless you have somebody who can do it well. I don't know who can do it well.
Scorch says Rick Steiner once tried to stop 6 Marines from picking a fight with Haku. They didn't listen to Rick, and Haku beat up all 6.
That's possible. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they did.
Little Bindi Tara. Did you ever meet the giant Gonzalez? Yes, you guys were on SummerSlam 93 together.
Yes, I did meet John Gonzalez. He was very well. I didn't hang around and have a conversation with him. We said hello. That was pretty much it.
That's it? You didn't get to know him at all? Nothing?
Gee, I'm sorry. We didn't have a whole lot of time to sit there. We were going over our stuff, I think. Yeah. I don't think he spoke very good English either.
No.
Or maybe he was kayfabe with me. Hell, I don't know, John.
Yeah, he didn't want to have a conversation
Right,
with you.
there you go. That could have been it.
Brendan says, can't wait to have Gunther in the world title picture.
Well, I think he's as long as he stays healthy too, he'll be fine. We'll see Gunther somewhere.
Hello, Ragu Overlord. Barbara says, why was John Cena the opening match he jobbed for Austin Theory?
Well, the most important match anywhere is your first match because they set the pace. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. And I think
He looked
too,
he looked
huh?
bad. Cena looked bad.
You think he looked
He's hurt.
bad?
He is hurting. Yeah, I don't know if his knees are shot or whatever, but he looked real. He was moving slow. He was super pale. I know people were making fun of the bald spot, but he is 46 years old. So I mean, that comes with terrible. But to me, I
Right.
know he looks like he's hurt or something. But that was great that he did the job for the guy, and obviously he's a huge name. So I mean, it was a great way to kick off the show. But he looked slow.
Well, okay. Because I didn't see him looking slow. I thought he was just taking his time.
It's
So
possible,
you
but
know, because Theory,
works too
I,
fast.
well, I don't know. I don't know how he is actually, but if I was John and wanted to make sure he wanted to make sure, I thought he was taking his time. So and being on first and putting Austin Theory over, you can say, hey, not only did I not main event, I went on first and I put Austin Theory over the way it should have been done. So what do you got to say to me now?
Yeah, he's doing whatever. I mean, he's jobbing to whoever they want him to. Yeah, he jobbed to Roman Reigns last year. Yeah.
So there you have it.
He knows he's full Hollywood, so if he's gonna come back, he's gonna do business. Gotta do the
Well,
right
you
thing.
just said it. Yeah, he's 46 years old. He's doing Hollywood. He's
Yep.
he's doing okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I think he'll be fine.
he'll be
Uh,
fine.
yeah, yeah. B40 says it's 1982. Dr. Tom is driving the territory, making the towns. What cassettes did he have in the tape deck? Wow.
Let's see. There was definitely Back in Black. It was
Nice,
sure,
nice.
sure. Trying to think what else. I had some Zeppelin.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That's why I asked for you got when the levee broke. When the levee breaks. So
Yes.
that's always good. And then,
Yes.
so
Um. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, that was it.
Okay. Ahmed Belton says, "Where is Tony Atlas?"
I think Tony isn't he in
Maine.
Maine? Yeah. I was gonna say Baltimore, but I don't know
Yep.
if it's Baltimore or not. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the Northeast a lot. Like he'll drive down and make towns and show up. So I mean, he's
Us.
still jacked to the nines.
Yeah, he is. I saw him in Indiana last year, in Indianapolis.
From Bill Pierce. Hello, Dr. Tom. I had the honor of working with you with the Savoldis with ICW. Wow, this is the Bill Pierce.
Very cool, Bill. Very cool. I remember that time with the Savoldis. Actually, it was kind of a nice place to go.
Jason, it would be interesting to get Dana White involved with a WWE angle. Now it could be very likely.
Well, yeah. I think Dana has always been wanting to get involved with WWE, kind of doing something as long as it didn't make him look ridiculous. I think he'd be up for something like that because he wants to, he's that guy making the fights. He's that guy's authority, and now he's got another guy like Vince McMahon, and they can, play with it and do whatever they want with it. And so, yeah, I think it could be time for Dana to get involved just to see what they could do, maybe on a combined show. I don't know if a combined show would work or not, but they kind of got to come up with something.
Little Bindy's back. Scott Bigelow and John Tenta really need to go into the Hall of Fame.
I will agree on both those guys.
Yeah,
Bam
it's insane,
Bam.
insane that Bam Bam's not in there. Ugh.
Yeah, yeah. And I think John Tenta did a really good job too.
Excellent feud
Whatever
with the
was,
Hulkster. Yes.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So I agree 100% with that one.
Magazine is back, and this is something I was going to bring up before. Sasha Banks has returned to the Mandalorian streaming series. She's back in season 3 for the Mandalorian. She was in the episode that just came out today. Look at that. She's landed on her feet pretty damn good.
Yeah, I think she's a talented lady. I really do. So she's going to land on her feet no matter what.
She had a couple lines in this episode 6 of Mandalorian. She
Ooh,
returned, so obviously she'll be in the next 2 as well. But yeah, she had a couple lines. She's in there. They showed her a bunch, so good for her.
good for her. I agree.
Should Mike Rotunda, aka IRS, be in the Hall of Fame? He worked for the WWF, behind the scenes in WWF and WWE. I feel that he's highly under recognized. The tax cheat, if you will. Remember, he used to call you people tax cheat.
Yeah, I think Mike should be in the Hall of Fame. Definitely. Um, yeah, he's had a hell of a career, so he certainly belongs in there.
Good Day is saying the Snoop Dogg song that played when he was in Lowrider with Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania is one that The Rock derived the word SmackDown from, and now it's in the dictionary.
I
Wow.
did not know that. I knew
I
this
did
the
not
word
know that either.
SmackDown. Yeah, SmackDown's in the dictionary. I did know that, but I didn't know that the Snoop Dogg song.
B40 is saying, LOL, you mean nothing but a G thing, baby, was one of the most popular songs in hip hop history.
Dang. Well, I must have been off that day.
Rio is saying, evidently, there are 2 other bushwhackers, Jonathan Boyd and Rip Morgan. Actually, you want to throw Johnny Ace in the whole,
Yeah,
too. Not bushwhackers per se, they were sheep herders, but yes. Yep.
he was. Yeah, Johnny and Rip Morgan,
And
Jack
Jonathan Boyd.
Victory.
Yep. Jack Victory, too. Yeah.
Jack Victory
Yep.
was in there. Was that it? But
I
yeah,
think so.
yeah, Jonathan, Rip. Uh, I worked with them too a little bit, but yeah, they were good. They really were good guys and good to be around. Good to be in the ring. Even when they were the sheep herders, um, they were a lot of fun to work with because they were the kind of heel that knew how to get heat and knew how to let people see it uh, and knew how to draw it out. So that's why Luke booked so many times in Puerto Rico. He booked in San Antonio some and various places. So,
Rick is saying, I believe the first time I saw the sheep herders was Jonathan Boyd and Luke. Makes sense.
okay, yeah,
He
yeah,
also
Luke Boy, yeah,
he also said that Vince looks like John Dillinger, aka Public Enemy #1. Yes. I
yes, he
kind of agree with
does.
that. I kind of agree with that.
Well, if you're gonna be, why don't you go ahead and be?
Mitch Miller saying Dr. Tom's headlock pick of the week. I kind of like that, where you make a prediction. It's your headlock pick of the week. It's not bad.
Hmm. Well, I predict that the NWA is going to be in Chicago this weekend.
3-1-2.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, 312. It's Studio One in Highland, Illinois, man, Highland Park, and there's a lot of interesting talent in the NWA that's young and upcoming and hungry and fiery too. So that's my headlock of the week is the NWA in Chicago this weekend. How about that?
All right. I like that. It's a good
Okay,
recommendation from Dr. Mitch Miller there.
very
Barbara
good.
wants to know, or Barbara's saying that they turned Braun Breaker heel, and then she's asking, is he coming to the main roster?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's going to come to the main roster or not, but we'll see.
Scorch says today John Cena is the same age that Bushwhacker Butch was in 1990. That's hard to believe.
Wow. Well,
Crazy. It's crazy.
it is crazy. Happy birthday, John.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
wait.
Rick is saying Dana thinks he's a tough guy after slapping his wife around. Whoa. Yes.
Wait, Dana. Oh, I
In a
see.
way, when he was.
Yeah, in the
It's
bar.
crazy. He slapped his wife. Was that something to do with the slap league that came out right after that? It had no bearing and it still came out anyway? Crazy.
Mm.
Was Giant Gonzalez just as hairy under the suit as he was with the suit on?
Even more so. I don't know why he had to wear the suit.
Ibsen wants to know, when are you coming back to the Northeast again?
You know what? I am coming back, I think, in September to the Hilton for yes. I'll have the date and everything. Actually, I am coming back, but I don't have the date yet. It's in September,
Nice.
so we'll come back to.
Bo was saying Jonathan Boyd was a sheepherder. Yes, yes.
Yes, he was.
Jason says, "Did you ever see Andy Kaufman's movie My Breakfast with Blassie?"
I have. I have. I
What
liked it.
What did you think?
I liked it. Um, my breakfast with Blassie. They go to a Sambo's. Have you ever seen it?
No, I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. No, I need to watch it though.
Yes, you do, because they go to a Sambo's in Los Angeles, which does not exist anymore, and the guy has snot on his nose, and it's just him and Blassie having breakfast, kind of like Andy having a bowl of ice cream on stage, but you got Blassie
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
same kind of deal. But I did see it. Yeah,
Vince as Snidely, Whiplash, Snidely, tying up a damsel distress on the railroad tracks. That's who he reminds me of. Yeah, Snidely. Yeah, that's really.
yeah, with a nice stove hat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
that'd be
God.
nice. Yeah, I think he looked great. Unbelievable.
JP, got to check it out. Yeah, I've seen like clips of it, but I got to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, you do have to watch the whole thing to put it in context. Just make sure you have an hour to throw away.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you could pick up or could pick two dudes off the current roster today to play the new Heavenly Bodies, who would you pick and would you manage them?
Um. Okay. So I don't know who I'd pick as a new Heavenly Body, except maybe Chad Gable and no, Chad Gable and Otis, the new Heavenly Bodies. Yeah. And no, I
Oh,
wouldn't manage
okay.
them. What? What?
I like that.
Oh, yeah.
Otis and the Gable. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think. Yeah. I think they should be on their own and get somebody who's on the developmental roster as a manager and let them do it. Let those guys go out and do it. Chad, that's a smaller guy, muscular guy. Otis is a big guy, fat guy, and think what you want. That's what I
Yeah.
would do. Yeah. Actually,
Interesting pick.
I think I'm gonna send that idea in tonight. Thank you very much for offering that. Thank you.
I know somebody you could get in touch with over there.
Can I
Yeah.
get their email?
Yep. I'll get it
Thank
to you.
you.
Yep. Yep.
Yes.
It was a take on My Dinner with Andre. Okay. Interesting. Barbara saying, please tell us how to get a Dr. Tom's wrestling book. Maybe get a copy for Snoop Doggy Dog. Of course, it's pro wrestling curriculum, advice, suggestions, and stories to help the aspiring pro get to the next level. What can they get? The book.
They can go to the book there at jpwrestlingacademy.com. Go and training the training tab. It'll be on the first page for you. That's jpwrestlingacademy.com, and it'll be on the front page.
Of course, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at 2Man Power Trip. Check out the website, tnptempire.com. You can follow Dr. Tom on Twitter at Dr. Tom Prichard. Go to Pro Wrestling Tees, prowrestlingtees.com, and visit the Dr. Tom store. Get the awesome Wanted Dead or Alive shirt, or go to the JPWA store and buy a JPWA shirt. Dr. Tom, what else you got going on in this crazy world?
We just started our first class for the spring session here. So, we have 11 more weeks to go, and then we're going to start the summer session, but we're already taking applications. So if you also go to jpwrestlingacademy.com, fill out an application for the summer session. You can get in now, get in early, reserve a place to stay, and all that good stuff. So that's it.
Of course, NWA, I always say 312, but it's really, they want you to say
312.
NWA 312 is on Friday, right? The pay-per-view.
Friday and
April.
Saturday at Studio One in Highland Park, Illinois, man. So it's going to be a lot of TV taping and some really cool, really, really good talent there.
And of course, go to Fight TV and order it on pay-per-view. And of course, NationalWrestlingAlliance.com or NWA Tix. com for some more ticket information as far as NWA 312. Should be a good one. I know Tyrus is there. I just talked today to Mims and Dak Draper. They will be there. Those two guys are
Yeah.
great. So
Yeah.
should be a good one for sure. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you right back here next week for a little Taking to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. We'll see you next week, folks.